Here at the Timber Trail Lodge, we've just completed the first day of the Timber Trail. Tomorrow we'll be on day 2, and we are on 3 really nice Giant Trance E and Liv Intrigue Plus bikes. There are 3 bikes that are very similar. The Liv and the green Trance E Plus 3 are pretty close to identical. The difference is in there's some small tweaks made to fit for that makes it women specific. This one's in a size S, and they also go down to an extra small, which is one point of uniqueness in this range. They also do the Trance E in an extra small. So if you are a smaller rider, you can't really go past these bikes, because as far as I know, they are the only quality e-mountain bike range that you can get in an extra small. And part of the reason for this is Giant's Maestro suspension design. It's got this kind of fairly compact arrangement here, and that means that they can drop this this top tube fairly low down and give a decent standover height for the smaller women. It uses a Yamaha motor that's been tweaked specifically for Giant. Let's just say that it's got heaps of power, heaps of torque. It's really responsive, and there is nothing negative to say about it at all. It works very well. It has a kind of a grinding sort of noise when you're riding along. I mean, in a pleasant sort of way. At times it almost sounds like a Yamaha 2-stroke, but it's certainly got the torque and feel of a 4-stroke. The Liv and the Trance E3, this one, they are the kind of entry-level bikes. There's nothing on them that you say, oh no, I wish they hadn't put that on. It's all quality gear. This has got, Minion DHF tires. They're super good. They, downhill front-specific tires on a Suntour Aeon fork. Traditionally Suntour is sort of known for generic forks on generic bikes, but these are an e-bike specific fork that is it really is a quality fork, nothing wrong with it at all. So I'd be perfectly happy with a bike with an Aeon fork on it. It's got sort of typical lockout type things, and air suspension, so you can adjust the fork very well. Adjustable damping down here, so you can really tweak it to perform exactly how you want it. One thing I do like is this built-in little mud guard there. Keeps some of the spray out of your face and keeps it off the frame as well. The controller is a very simple one. You just turn it on. It's got some lights that come on, but hard to see in this kind of light. It's got 5 levels of boost, and having that level of adjustability is quite nice. And furthermore, what you can do with these is there is an app, and with the app you can adjust what each of those 5 levels of assist gives you. So I tuned mine. I was riding this bike, this green Trance E, and I adjusted the lower levels to the absolute minimum. So on level 1 it was giving me 50% of my own input back from the motor. At the second setting, I think it was the same back, and then I kind of tweaked it up a little bit so that at the top end it goes up to 360%. It's got Tektro brakes. They are what they call 4-pot or 4-piston brake sets. They're well modulated and powerful. Again, Tektro also sort of known for generic bikes or generic brakes on generic bikes, but these are as good as anything. SLX shifters and derailleur. It is only a 10-speed cassette on here, so the lowest gear isn't especially low, because it's got a fairly big front chainring. I think that's a 36, so that's quite a high ratio. You've got the motor assistance, of course, so there's nothing that I couldn't easily go up pretty steep hills. But sometimes it's nice to have an even lower gear. and that's where the Trance E1 differentiates. They've put on a SRAM GX 12-speed cassette and shifter system with this massive low range. So this one steps it up. The RRP goes up by $1,000. There isn't a huge amount of difference. You've gone from, you've gone to that sort of gear system, 12-speed over 10-speed. You've got different brakes. So you've got SRAM code, which is a downhill specific or enduro specific brake set. They'll be slightly better. The forks as well are a Fox 36 e-bike specific fork, so they'll be slightly better again, probably slightly better small bump sensitivity, there'll be better damping, but otherwise the rest of the specification is pretty much the same. I think the rear shock is identical, suspension is identical, same tires, same wheels, same contact points, same dropper post. The only negative thing I can think of really is, and this is a common complaint of mine on e-mountain bikes, is the saddle. This one is called the Contact Neutral, and it's one of those sort of saddles that's neither wide nor narrow, and I found that it was a little bit uncomfortable after a while. I would far prefer, it's got good padding, there's no doubt about that, but I would prefer something that was a little bit more plushy, and maybe a bit like this one that they've put on the Liv, which they've called their upright saddle, which you can see is slightly wider here. Again, that's part of the women's specific design, reasonable padding, but it's a very flat in that sort of plane. You can see maybe there. There's not a lot of rounding on that, and saddles are a personal thing, so it's hard to please everybody when it comes to saddles. ElectricMeg was riding the Liv Intrigue. She has in fact ordered herself one, so she'll be getting one in an extra small. This is a size small, but they don't have any demo bikes in an extra small, which is a real shame. And yeah, so all up, these are superb bikes. They will suit pretty much anyone who is thinking about doing these sorts of trails. We did 40 k's today. I still had 2 out of 5 lights on the battery, so plenty of range. Probably get 50-60 k's out of a battery. I wasn't running a whole lot of boost. At times I did, going up some of the hills. Most of the time I rode it in 1 and 2, which, as I said, I tweaked the power down anyway from what is the factory default. Keeps a grunt. And very highly recommended bikes. The Liv and the Trance E3 retail at $6,299, and this one, the Trance E1, is I believe $7,299. So that extra $1,000 buys you probably a better set of front forks, and better brakes, better gears, incrementally, not massively. If these things are important to you, then by all means spend the extra money on that. But if you bought one of these, the Intrigue is only available in this spec level in New Zealand at the moment. So you won't be sorry if you buy any of these. In fact, I think you'll be thrilled with the bike. We were really happy. It made the day so enjoyable here. Beautiful surroundings, absolutely stunning place. Timber Trail Lodge is lovely. It's a perfect place to end your stay. They've got undercover bike storage there, and around the back they've got some further bike storage that's got power points there, so you could charge your bikes outside. Otherwise you can just take the battery off. The Timber Trail Lodge even has e-bike charging facilities, which means there's a plug outside where you can plug in. And look, Giants and Specialized, even some brand new bikes. These weren't ours, but they're the same as the ones we rode in. Still got the little price tag thingy on. I like what they've done. Comfy saddles.